Hey guys, I really didn't think I'd find very many stories today, and well, looky here, I found 8. We have a rabid Easter bunny, BatTrump, Queers for Palestine gets a wake-up call, and election fraud. I didn't think those really happened. And a very unfortunate circumstance on a turnpike in Florida, a Gazan who doesn't look like it, but says he's starving, and a real-life superhero girl, all concluding with a brawl on Carnival Cruise Line. Fancy that. Let's get right into it.
Another week, another shrug.
For my first story, really is brief. It's just a video that I thought was pretty awesome. And I just don't know what the circumstances are behind it. And if you know, please let me know. But here it is. The Easter Bunny beating the ever-living crud out of someone.
Cotton-tailed and packing marshmallow might. Security failed, but Bunny brought the fight. One fluffy fist and the drunk went down. Best holiday bouncer in this whole town.
I'm going to give this one only one shrug. I have no idea what that bunny rabbit was pissed off about. The next short clip is from the Daily Wire, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious. This is CNN giving Trump a new nickname and accidentally making him sound even cooler.
Donald Trump makes himself Batman, and the nation's capital is Gotham City. The President of the United States has declared himself crime fighter in chief.
Love the video, but I get to give 2 shrugs to CNN for inadvertently doing something pretty cool. My next story is a bit more serious. Unfortunately, this young man, Ahmad Abu Marhaya, was unalived in the West Bank. The reason? Because he's gay. He was apparently seeking asylum inside Israel when, for whatever reason, he ended up in the West Bank. There, nobody really knows what happened, but let's say that they separated one portion of his body from another, which ended permanently for him. His lifestyle is banned in that particular part of the world. The Israelis are a lot more accepting of that lifestyle, and according to reports, some 90 Palestinians who identify as LGBT currently live inside Israel as asylum seekers. I'm sure you've seen this. Lots of these marches, Queers for Palestine, and I just don't know if these young people fully understand what they're standing up for. Because what happened to poor Ahmad is something that happens very frequently in that part of the world. Let me show you a video of some of them being called on their own beliefs.
Freedom for Palestine. We're celebrating both causes, for Pride and for Gaza.
Basically, we just trying to get him to understand where everybody's coming from.
And where are you coming from?
I told you, I don't know about this. I told you, I don't know.
October 7th was like the exclamation point at the end of a history of apartheid.
How is apartheid being like enforced over there in Israel?
I'm not really sure about that. It's my first time hearing about that.
Do you guys have some examples of how that apartheid looks like in the state of Israel?
I don't.
Also, would you say that rape is resistance?
I don't know that much about that. I don't think I can answer that question.
Like, is rape justified because of the actions?
I don't think. Yeah, it's definitely putting me in a box saying that.
So you're saying that that rape could be justified?
Hamas is the reaction. It's not a problem. Hamas is the result of the situation.
What's your message right now to other young people out there? Should they come out and protest and show their support for Hamas?
I think they should.
And your sign says, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free."
Yeah.
Can you tell me which river and which sea we're talking about here?
This is you've caught me on the spot, and I'm really horrible when asking questions. But basically, the river and the sea that border both sides of Palestine, where Israel is right now.
Now let's go on to a story that isn't quite so heavy. This is from the Detroit Free Press, and it stems from an occurrence in 2023 that is just now starting to weave its way through the court system. Election fraud charges filed against two Hamtramck councilmen. The two councilmen had been charged by a county prosecutor with election and absentee ballot fraud in 2023. Councilman Mohammed Kamrul Hassan, 57, and Mutasin Rahman Sadman, 26, each face several felony and misdemeanor charges for alleged criminal activity from July 7th, 2023 to November 7th, 2023. Time period that includes both the August primary and the November general elections in Hamtramck. So why am I bringing this up right now? Well, let me tell you, it's not stopped. Here's a video that you can see of a gentleman at the Hamtramck drop box for votes, and he is taking mail-in ballots and he's stuffing them into this drop box, and there are quite a few of them that you can see. Now, the gentleman that is next to him is Hamtramck, Michigan City Councilman Abu Musa, and he is now under investigation for election fraud as well. You saw right there stacks of them, and this is why President Trump just came out the other day against mail-in balloting. Now, I firmly believe there are reasons for mail-in balloting. There are soldiers overseas that can't possibly get to their polling locations. There are people working all over the world that, again, can't get to their polling locations, and they need to utilize mail-in balloting. But for the general public, it's not necessary. And before we started all of this mail-in balloting, we were able to essentially count the entire election in one night. And now in many areas, it takes 2 weeks or more. In California, it's a full 2 months before there's a finalized vote tally. How many collection boxes can be stuffed in that period of time? How much fraud can we afford? I say we should not have any fraud at all in our election system. And currently, what we have has been rejected all over the world as not being secure. So why are we accepting it in America? We're supposed to be one of the most advanced nations on earth. And yet we accept a system that just doesn't really work. So my next story is also somewhat heavy. If you haven't seen this clip already, I'll show it to you. This truck driver is making a U-turn on a Florida turnpike, interstate, freeway, whatever name you want to give it to it. And as he makes the U-turn, a van who is unable to stop in time slams into the side of the truck, thus unaliving all 3 people inside the van. The driver of this truck was Harjinder Singh. Harjinder Singh entered the United States in 2018 and applied for asylum. He was given sanctuary status by California. So on this X post, Tricia McLaughlin writes, 3 innocent people were unalived in Florida because Gavin Newsom's California DMV issued an illegal alien a commercial driver's license. This state of governance is asinine. How many more innocent have to die before Gavin Newsom stops playing games with the safety of the American people? Now, this apparently set off Gavin Newsom's press office, and they inexplicably decided to make light of this. Hey, genius, the federal government, Trump's administration, already confirmed that this guy meets federal and state immigration requirements. You issued him a work permit, EAD. As usual, the Trump administration is either lying or clueless. So who's telling the truth here? Well, I'm going to defend Gavin Newsom here a little bit, much to my chagrin. The man entered the United States in 2018. That was during Trump's first administration. And it was a year before Gavin Newsom even took office as governor. However, let's look a little deeper into this because Tricia McLaughlin provides a little bit of insight here. She says, false. Harjinder Singh is in the United States illegally, and his work authorization was rejected under the Trump administration on September 14th, 2020. It was later approved under the Biden administration, June 9th, 2021. The state of California issues commercial driver's licenses, not the federal government. So here's the deal. Is Gavin Newsom culpable? Absolutely. Why? Because he continues on with this same program. He hasn't cut it off. He continues on it. And according to his press office, he defends it. Had this man never been allowed to stay in the United States and deported when he should have been deported, there'd be 3 people alive today. So just to show you exactly how widespread this problem is, there's a lot of states that will issue driver's licenses to illegals. Now, I don't know how stringent they are. Apparently in California, you can get a commercial driver's license without knowing really the laws of the road, as evidenced by Mr. Harjinder Singh. But here are the states: California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Rhode Island, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, and Washington, D.C. There's a lot of truck drivers out there on the road. We have no idea of their skill levels, their ability to drive truck appropriately. That's a scary thing. Super serious story, but I still got to give Gavin Newsom's press office 3 shrugs for this one. Their flippant response was inappropriate. Now, much is being said about what's going on in Gaza. Probably some of it's false. Probably some of it's true. But here's the problem. How do you know? How do you know what's true? Well, case in point, a New York Times reporter who lives and works in Gaza. Now, he's telling the world that the Gazans are starving to death, that the famine is real. Well, let's take a look at journalist Suleiman Haji.
You say there's drought and hunger, but you're scarfing down like thunder. The pantry's gone, you don't play it small with an all-you-can-eat, that's an all-you-ate haul. Don't tell me that you're wasting thin when the booth cries mercy when you squeeze right in. If there's famine, buddy, don't pretend you just polished off dessert again. Just starving, just starving. Man, your food court bill could feed Berlin. Starving, starving. It looks a lot like feasting when you're covered in pudding.
Well, Gazans may be going without food, but definitely that guy is not. A big old 5 shrugs for this one. Dude needs to not eat on camera. He can do all the reporting he wants to do. But geez, oh Pete's, look at the optics. So some heroes wear capes, fly around, fight bad guys. Some heroes are 11-year-old little girls. This is from the Daily Caller, and it's about an 11-year-old Massachusetts girl who stepped in after a boy fell 20 feet into a well. An 11-year-old Massachusetts girl rescued a 5-year-old boy who fell approximately 20 feet into a well on Friday after she heard screams for help. Jack Boos, 5, was playing in his Kingsborough yard when he stepped on a well cover that broke, sending him sliding down into the well. Let me tell you, they just showed a little picture of this well, and these things look absolutely terrifying. So the mother had apparently discovered that the screams came from underground. Her son had fallen into the neighbor's water well that was located between their residences. The boy had managed to land on a small piece of concrete, and he grabbed a hold of a pole. Friedman tried to keep her son calm while screaming for somebody to come to the rescue. Juliana Fisher heard those calls from across the street, and according to Local 12, she says, "I heard these screams, and someone saying, 'Call 911,' the 11-year-old said. She ran over while contacting emergency services. I looked around me and I saw a ladder. I was like, should I just go and grab that?" She just went and grabbed the ladder herself, put it in the well. I just didn't want to read this story. I kind of want to show you a little bit of the news clip because it's just absolutely amazing.
I was just trying to talk to Jack, which is the little kid that fell down, and he was just crying and everything, holding on to the pipe at the bottom. While she was talking to the 911 operator, I saw the ladder over there, and I got it and just put it down for him to grab, and my dad ran out because he went and got a rope. But by the time we had the ladder down there and he just started to climb up.
What a hero this young girl is. Well, on this last story, I gotta tell you, if you haven't seen one of these videos yet, you're just not paying attention. It seems that Carnival Cruise Line has been having problems after problems after problems with fights breaking out either on their ships or as people are boarding, as evidenced by this video right here. And well, I gotta say, Carnival's trying to clean it up, and they have put out a series of rules, and I think that the rules are actually pretty reasonable. Established a curfew for guests 17 and under. They are asking people to refrain from running and making noises in corridors. Keep those personal devices to yourself, not blaring out loudly for other people to be bothered by them. Handheld fans not permitted in the nightclub or in any indoor dance club. In addition, no beverages on the dance floor, no illegal narcotics, and basically smoking only in designated areas. These are the rules that they put out to help curb some of this behavior. And interestingly enough, they're all reasonable rules. Carnival's been called racist for establishing these rules. Well, whatever you want to say about racism, to be totally honest with you, I think that a cruise should be for having fun, not for fighting. But who am I to say? When I go on a cruise, I just enjoy myself, do whatever I want to do, but I don't bother other people. So remember, folks, what happens on the Lido deck? It ends up on YouTube.
Everyone was cruise ship fighting. The deck chairs were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening how the buffet sparked the fighting. There were fists flying out in the Lido over who stole the last burrito. One swung wild with a fruity drink. It happened on a 3-day sighting. The